Hey, I'm Diana Rosa reporting for the Equus Television Network, and I am with Chester Weber. Well, Chester is the guru in forehand driving. I've watched you for many years, Chester, and always love seeing what you do when you get out there on that course. So you just had a 19th victory. Let's start with that.
Super proud of the horses and the whole program. Been a little bit complicated this year. We just got home from the Hermitage show, which is in Goshen, Kentucky, and different than any of the victories before. This year, in order to get that done, we had to have horses basically on two different continents. So I have sort of my A stream was competing in Windsor 3 weeks ago, and then this group of horses, which we're obviously we're super proud of. We're ready to contest the 19th national championship at Hermitage, and we were fortunate enough to get it done.
Wow. Well done. But you've done well many times, and I've watched you over the years and love seeing you out there. So one of my best memories is in 2018 when you were the silver medal winner and the team was the gold. What was that like for you in your home country?
You know, that was a defining sort of moment in somebody's sort of equestrian or sport career. To be able to have that kind of success at home, in front of home crowd, was just great. It was it was a big effort put forth by a village of people all sort of yoking together in a positive way, and it really came down to the last seconds and whether it was going to be time faults or not, the cones, and so it was a really fun sort of fight, and we got it done. Yeah, it and couldn't be more proud to have helped the U.S. team secure a gold medal, and to win my first gold medal that day.
You have, you mentioned right there about talking about the team. I mean, this is bigger than some of the other things because there are four horses involved and there's a carriage and there's all these different things. So talk about that part a little bit. How do you all work together to make this happen?
Yeah, so I'm a big believer that this sport, that horse sport, is a team sport. And I think that that's some of the secret of the success we have. And I also believe that you have to have synergy between the different people involved in your team. So 1 and 1 has to be 3, and they have to fit into the team in a complementary sort of way that they help propel the team forward. And then, so their addition makes the sum of the parts of the team even stronger. I always use the analogy of car racing. I don't know much about car racing, but I can imagine that there's somebody who sits in the car and drives the car, but without the mechanic and without the tire guy and without the the body work guy, and there is no car team there. So for me, without a wonderful group of people all working together, that's vets and blacksmiths and people who are daily in the barn working on the basic work and training the horses with me. People scheduling things, helping with logistics. It takes a village to get consistent success done. But I think if you look at the performances of people like peers like McLean Ward and things like that, he always sees it the same way and credits Lee and the different people who have been around Castle Hill and that organization for a long time. And I think that's where an organization sort of goes from being a one-hit wonder with a good team of horses or a good one horse to just constantly hard knocking year in and year out. And I guess championship number 19 is probably evidence of a healthy organization at home.
Yeah, it definitely takes a team. It's got a lot of people involved. But let's talk a little bit about you. Well, first of all, you chose driving, but I bet you the beginning you were trying different things and then got there. So let's go back to when you were young and horses were really something that you strive to get into.
Sure. So my family has a thoroughbred racing operation in Florida. My mom bought that in Ocala. My mom bought it during the Cuban Missile Crisis. When I was growing up, I was at Belmont and Aqueduct Racetrack outside of New York and Saratoga in the summer, and Gulfstream in Miami and things like that, watching different races. I remember I think it was 1982, we had a horse finish that we bred at home, finished second in the Kentucky Derby. And just that sort of fever and excitement made horses just all that more exciting to me. Unfortunately, thoroughbred horses and little kids don't mix that well. So, you'd always say, oh, sit on this one. This one's really quiet. But thoroughbreds are, they're like Ferraris. They need a gentle touch, and little kids who are a little, anxious on their back is probably not the best thing. And then at sort of 11 or 12, it became pretty apparent I wasn't going to be the jockey that I wanted to be. I'm around 200 pounds and 6'2" tall, and being a jockey, I think they weigh about 120 pounds soaking wet. So that wasn't going to happen. And my father actually was given a gift of a Clydesdale horse, a draft horse, because he's a bigger guy like me, and he always felt like riding little quarter horses or around the farm. He felt like, I need a bigger horse. I'm a bigger person. So we got a Clydesdale horse, and he was going to ride that. And of course, it bucked me off. It bucked him off. It bucked everybody off. It didn't like to be ridden, which is sort of funny if you know anything about Clydesdale horses, because they're gentle giants. So I don't know how we happened to do that. And instead of saying what a logical person would say, well, let's get this horse better at riding, or find another Clydesdale horse that is more suited to the job, we said, no, we'll get a carriage and we'll drive it. So my dad and I would often go driving that horse. And I sort of went through the ranks of driving a single and showing in junior showmanships and kart classes in the arena. And from there, I worked my way up to a pair, and then a 4 and a 6, and I think I even showed 8 Clydesdale horses. And then sometime in my early teens, when I went off to boarding school in New Jersey, there was a person, Jimmy Fairclough, who lived near there and did combined driving. And so they said to me, of course, oh, we know somebody who does what you do. You should meet them. And he didn't do what I did. He did combined driving, but I was enamored by combined driving and took to it. I leased a horse for the first season and trained a bit and went to a horse show. And it was really, positive experience. And, did combined driving from a single to a pair. And then I think in 99, I sort of made a transition from driving a pair to a 4-in-hand. And now I'm a seasoned guy who has a lot of experience. And but the great thing about working with horses is every day is a new day and the new challenges, and horses teach you. They are such wonderful teachers if you have your eyes open and your mind open. They will teach you a lot.
In any discipline, any sport, right? They're
absolutely.
And they can even help people with disabilities. So you've got some things to look forward to this year. I know you're going to be going to Germany, and but probably one of your big goals is to go to the World Championships in Bertone, Italy, where the driving championships will be taking place. So what's the plan to get there?
So we were just there 2 weeks ago. Gabriele Grasso, the young Italian gentleman who works for me as sort of my protege, he was there with a single horse with 2 people from my my organization and team, trying to work on the logistics of getting there and how are we going to get there from our base near Rotterdam in Holland. How are we going to get down to Bertone and do that in the best way for the horses? No success is luck. It's all the part of planning all the little pieces. So he was just there. and drove a single. He competes in the single class for the Italian team, and fortunately he won. And we gained a bunch of information there about the footing and the studs we need, and measuring lactates and all sorts of stuff. So we're now putting together a training plan and to work with the best group of horses. And the horses that were actually here for the American Championship, those 4 horses are actually flying this coming Sunday to Europe. So then the sort of string of 10 horses will all be together in Holland, where we'll train and try to take the best group out for Aachen. And then after Aachen, we will we'll carry on to prepare at a few other events for Bretoni. But right now we have a deep bench and a great group of horses that we've been sort of working very hard at during COVID. I think COVID changed things for a lot of people. Some people kind of went home and put their feet up. That's not what our organization did. We really spent a lot of time on our young horses and what we had coming along, and I couldn't be more proud of the success that they had in Windsor, and I can't wait for what will happen in Aachen with them.
All right, so you've got a string of horses there, but can you talk about a couple of them, maybe their personalities, and which ones you think
Sure
may opt to go to the World Championships?
Yeah, one of the most exciting, I have the 2 leaders for the dressage are really exciting horses right now. That's a young horse that's coming 7 this year, which is quite young in experience. However, COVID, being home all the time, being able to really work hard on the fundamentals, and he has an incredible amount of natural ability. That's a horse named Cadora, is together with Julius. I think Julius is probably the most exciting horse I've ever worked with. He's he has a personality of a Labrador. He wants to please and do everything perfectly for you. He's the right amount of forward, but not too forward. But those 2 horses really haven't had a huge international career. So, if I look at the Governors and the Edisons and those kind of horses that were all around for medals in Tryon, those horses weren't sort of part of our Windsor team. And I as I said, I'm really looking forward to what's to come. The age range, I think, this year in the team goes from Amadeus, who's 17. He's been part of the program really, I think, since 2000. I think he's been with us, I think, since he was 10 or 11. So that's really, 7 or 8 years. And that horse is, we have a couple that are verging on, 10-year kind of careers, but they're sound and doing really well. And so I'm super excited for that.
All right. So there is someone out there watching now and listening to you and saying, one day I want to walk in his shoes. What kind of advice would you give him?
This isn't a dress rehearsal. None of us get out of this life alive. Make the best of it. Do your best every day. And I try and live by the sort of the motto in sport that winners train and losers complain. I always feel like there's some details, something to some rock to turn over and try and figure something out. And if you're inspired enough about and care enough about the goal, you'll work hard enough at it.
All right, so I want you to look back in your career, and I want you to tell me now, and those out there, what were some of the special moments? What will you always carry with you, no matter whether it's now or 10 years from now, or back when you actually accomplished or achieved some goals?
Yeah, so probably one of the most defining moments for me in my career, and it took a while or sort of phase, was in 2006. I drove the World Equestrian Games were in Aachen, Germany. I made a mistake myself on Sunday with the cones course, and I drove through a pair of cones backwards and was eliminated. I felt like 2 years of hard work were down the drain. I had a wonderful chef to keep at the time, Ed Young, who said to me, I just felt defeated. And he said, are you going to really let this define you? That was one moment in an arena one day. Yeah, it's too bad, but somehow you have to, put that behind you and push on. And with that, I, started really looking at, okay, if that's not how I want it to go, how do I want it to go? And how do I become so committed to the outcome in a positive way? And I literally turned every rock over. And I would I was critical about horses and said, hey, is this horse really good enough for me to get on the podium with? Is this suitable for me? And really had a positive sort of, I took that sort of negative push into a positive thing. And 2 years later, I was the first American to win an individual medal in four-in-hand driving. And I haven't really looked back since then. And I learned a lot through that process. And I feel like it might sound silly, but we're sort of somehow in life, we're either learning or suffering. And I was able to take that setback and really turn it into, a springboard to catapult my career to sort of the next level. And I've never been pleased just enough with how it goes in the United States, where I've been able to, dominate the sport. I've always been focused on, okay, how am I the best? And I still have a goal out there. I'd still like to win an individual gold medal. And that's going to take a lot of work and planning. And that's what we're about this summer.
It's great, though, to always have some goals. Well, I want to thank you, Chester Weber. What a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for people to actually hear from you and what you have to say. And we're all hoping for you to get to Pratoni, and so we can see what happens there. But do you have any last words you'd like to say? To everyone out there who competes with horses, be mindful, because there's always some kid looking over the fence who was you as a kid, and do the right thing, and success will come. Just believe in yourself. Fabulous. Well, thank you so much again, and you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.